Hi guys, I'm Nanta Rai reporting for ET Now, and today I have an exclusive story for all of you. I'm being told by my sources in the government that the government of India is looking to make KOO as its first port for communication with the Janta and the public. That is KOO, of course, being the Desi alternative to Twitter. So the idea being that very soon, senior members of this government, whether they are cabinet ministers, councillor ministers, bureaucrats, etc., may first communicate with the Janta at large on KOO. Then, you know, an hour to 3 hours later, they will make the same announcements on Twitter. The idea, of course, being to encourage an Atmanirbhar app. They want a strong second or a match for Twitter. I'll get to that part in just a bit. So first is that the announcements will be first made probably on KOO and 1 to 3 hours later on Twitter. The second one is this, that what you could also see is that when they come on Twitter to share that same update with the public at large, what they may do is copy paste the URL from KOO. So that basically means, you want to see what this minister is saying or what this bureaucrat is saying. So you click on the URL and it'll take you to KOO, right? So that being the whole idea. So you drive traction. You try to use the Twitter platform also in that sense to drive traction. In fact, if you go on, even now on the Twitter profile of, let's say, Cabinet Minister Piyush Goyal, you will see that he is copy pasting the KOO URL on his Twitter handle. The idea, of course, being to drive traction and all of that. In fact, I'm being told by my sources that in the days and weeks to come, you will start seeing the senior members of this government join KOO. You already seen Ravi Shankar Prasad on it, Piyush Goyal I was just talking about. You've seen a couple of PSUs, government departments come on it, for example, BSNL and all of that. That's going to gain traction as well. You start seeing other members of the council of ministers, cabinet ministers, bureaucrats, all of them joining KOO. And once the user base is reasonably large, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also expected to sign up on KOO. Idea, of course, being to give a boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat. That's a clarion call of this government. But maybe this is also the way the government wants to go after the recent standoff with Twitter. Now, the government had been really upset that Twitter allowed the farmer genocide hashtag to trend. It had objected to it. A notice had been sent. It had asked for nearly 1,200 accounts to be taken down. These are 1,200 accounts and links on Twitter to be taken down. Twitter had been initially hesitant. It had been a standoff. And maybe that's why the government says, let's be self-resilient. Let's have our own ecosystem. Let's have an India-first approach or whatever. And that is the reason. But having said that, Twitter gets you a global audience. We have seen Prime Minister, for example, engage with other heads of states on Twitter. Not going to be able to do that on KOO. Many people will want to have a global audience and all of that. So I don't think the idea is to have KOO at the expense of Twitter. I think what the government is hoping for is to just have an alternative which also makes Twitter understand that there is another option. That other option didn't exist a couple of months ago. KOO itself is only 9 to 10 months old. Before this entire standoff, it had about 50,000 users. That's already jumped to about 5 lakh. The idea, of course, being that the government starts making announcements on it. It wants to get the Janta there and build the user base. So what will it start with? First you'll have the government, the bureaucrats, then obviously the departments will come in. There will be people like us journalists. If there's going to be a 1 to 3 hour gap between them sharing on Twitter and KOO, obviously we'll want to hear information first. So you'll have journalists jumping in, you'll have policy, those who track policy jumping in, you'll have then maybe members of the opposition jumping in to see what is it that the ministers and council of ministers are saying over there. Interesting days ahead of us. You can call it the war of birds.